Hello everyone. 안녕세요. This is a Hangul lesson for beginners. In this series, I will teach you how to read Hangul. And I'll also guarantee you that by the end of this series, you will be able to read Hangul. On the previous videos, we learned about vowels and consonants, Patchim, and blending syllables. This is the last video of this Hangul lesson series. If you haven't learned about the vowels and consonants, Patchim, and blending syllables yet, please go back and check out those videos. If you don't know what those are, you will not be able to understand today's topic, combined vowels. Now let's get started. A lot of people find it difficult to understand combined vowels. So what is making it difficult for people to understand it? Do you remember the first 10 vowels? Besides these 10 vowels that you learned in the first video, there are 11 combined vowels. This 11 of the combined vowels is the reason why beginners and self-taught people are staggering. What? There are 10 basic vowels plus another 11 combined vowels to memorize? 10 plus 11 is total of 21. That means I have to learn 11 more new sounds. Then people goes, that's impossible. But you don't have to think it too hard. There is a way to remember them. First of all, combined vowels are literally just a combination of vowels. We can form a combined vowels just by combining the 10 vowels that we learned already. So there is no need to learn anything new. It's very easy to remember it. Just by using the 10 basic vowels, you will be able to read it. Let me explain how to remember them. First, let's take a look at the 11 combined vowels. They look really complicated, don't they? But don't worry. As I said earlier, there are ways to remember them. For example, let's take a look at this, yeah. Didn't I say that the combined vowels are just combination of vowels? So let's take these letters apart. As you can see here, if we take this letter apart, it becomes a basic vowel. Ya plus E. That we've learned already. Let's take another look at these combined vowels. This one looks complicated as well, but if we take apart this in the same way, it becomes U, O, E. If you take apart all the 11 combined vowels like this, it would be the 10 basic vowels that you've already learned. It's easy because you are not learning any new letters. However, if you are studying on your own, you may not realize this fact, so it will make your study more difficult. And the biggest trick with these combined vowels are not to memorize them. You might think, how do you learn them without memorizing them? Well, if you try to just memorize each sound, it will take more time. So let's learn how to remember combined vowels. The first thing that we want to learn are these 4 combined vowels. The upper combined vowels are pronounced e. The bottom combined vowels are pronounced ye. To make it simple, just remember like this. These combined vowels look different, but the correct pronunciation is same. Let's look at them more in detail. But before getting into it, here is a question. What are the 2 lines that are common to these 4 letters? That's right, there are 2 vertical lines. First, let's remember these 2 same sounds. E. Draw 2 vertical lines and 1 horizontal line, in the middle or to the left. Next, let's look at these 2 same sounds, yeah. Draw 2 common vertical lines and then put 2 horizontal lines in the middle or to the left. Did you get it? And now, let's look at the rest of 7 combined vowels. It looks a little more complicated, doesn't it? But it's not what it seems like, so don't worry. Again, try not to memorize them. Let's look at them one by one. This is a letter sound of wa. Like we did before, take this apart into a basic vowel. Then it would become O plus a, right? Just try saying this quickly. It becomes wa, 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 wa. It's strange, isn't it? But if you remember the combined vowels based on the basic vowels, you can pronounce them correctly. Now let's move on to the next letter. Let's take this letter apart like we did earlier. This is U plus O, right? Try saying this quickly as well. Then it becomes uo, 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 right? Let's keep on going. This is U plus E, the A sound that we learned in the beginning. Try saying this quickly as well. It becomes ue, 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 ue. Take apart this one too. It's O plus E. An A sound that we learned in the beginning, right? It becomes ue, 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 ue. It's strange, but you can read it correctly. Now you have to be careful with this one. First, let's take this letter apart as well. It becomes O plus E, right? Let's try and say this quickly as well. Then it becomes OE, 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 OE. It doesn't become a sound of we, doesn't it? Actually, this is the only one that doesn't become a we sound. I'm afraid to say this, but for this letter, please memorize it. There are only two left. How about this letter? That's right. It's U plus E, right? If you say this quickly, it becomes ui, 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 ui. Now this is the last one. This is U plus E. So if you say this quickly like this, it would become ui, 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 ui. How was it? Wasn't it easier than you thought? As you can see, combined vowels can be made by simply just combining and reading the sound of the basic vowels. The only exception to this is the OE, we sound, which you need to memorize it. Now let's finish the lesson by reading some of the combined vowels. How do you read this word, baby? E plus gi, egi. How about this one, story? Ye plus gi, yegi. How about please? It's 주 plus 세 plus 요, 주세요. Apple would be 사 plus 과. It's a bit difficult sound to pronounce, but it's 사과. Company would be 회 plus 사, 회사. Last one, doctor would be 의 plus 사, 의사. Wasn't it surprisingly easy? To recap, if you learn the combined vowels based on the basic vowels, you can read them without having to memorize them. If there is anything you still don't understand, please go back and study it again and again. This is the end of all 4 Hangul lessons. There shouldn't be any Hangul that you can't read. If there is any Hangul that you can't read, then that means you haven't studied enough. However, language is a series of irregularities. There are still many rules and irregular ways of reading that we didn't learn in this lesson. But by now, you should be able to read most of the Hangul. If there are any terms that you can't read it, please let me know in the comments. If you can read Hangul, you can read all these names of the dishes written in Hangul, like kimchi-jjigae, tteokbokki, samgyeopsal, and even takkanmari. Just being able to read Hangul will make your trip much more enjoyable. Last but not least, what is your goal? I think a lot of people want to speak and understand Korean, but you can't start learning Korean unless you can read Hangul. So please try to master Hangul using these videos. Keep studying and see you in the next video.